Hello everybody, welcome to the second edition of Blender Building. Today we will be building a simple dome structure for Carda Station Metaverse. You can probably use it in other metaverses, but this one will be specifically for Carda Station, so we will add Airlock in there, so basically automatic doors to be in spec with the Carda Station avatars, so when they change from the outside avatar to the inside avatar, so it will work. Alright, so we're gonna start taking these 3 items out, and we got 2 choices. I'm gonna add a mesh, and I like to use Ico Sphere or geodesic dome. I will show you the difference if I'll go with the Ico Sphere first. And I'm gonna use these box here to make my radius. For single plot it will be 6 meters. 6 meters radius. Like so. So that gives me 12 meters from one end to the other end. And you can see I got triangles in here, and I can subdivide it to give me more triangles. Looks like a golf ball. So I can either use that for my dome, or sometimes I prefer this one. So again, mesh, geodesic dome. We got a lot more choices in here. Here, frequency, 2, 3. Okay, now it looks more like a dome. And I want to make it bigger. Oh, here we go, radius. Let's do 6. One more, like that. It's kind of odd shape. Let's do one more. Okay, that's a little better. 6. Still an odd shape. Okay, let's try and do tetrahedron, octahedron. Yeah, this gives me more uniform look. Yeah, that looks good. Now let's try more frequency. I think this looks pretty good. Let's see another one. ISO. So this looks pretty much like the Ico Sphere. Now if I'll go down with the frequency, there we go. So this is another option of a lot more choices. But for this one, I want to keep it simple. So we're just going to do Ico Sphere. And I'll leave it, subdivisions I leave to 2, like so. A lot more simpler for everybody. So we'll hop into edit mode, and I got the vertex select. I don't want to do faces or edges, so I'll stay in my vertex. I'll work with the vertices. So I want to highlight X-ray so I can see through it, and I can select vertices on the opposite side as well. I'm gonna delete those. Now I can jump out of edit mode, I'm gonna make a copy of this. Command copy and Command V. So now I have Ico Sphere and Ico Sphere 1. Alright, so Ico Sphere 1, it's gonna be my glass. And Ico Sphere is gonna be my frame. Alright, I got frame and I got glass. So frame is highlighted. So I'm gonna start with the frame. So I'm gonna highlight the glass. And I can either move it out of the way, but so I can put it back in the same spot, I wanna get the snap tool like that, so that when I move it out of the way, then I can move it back and it snaps in the exact same spot. If I don't highlight it, I'll move it here, and then I'm gonna have a hard time aligning how it was before. So I'll go back. I'm gonna highlight this magnet tool and just move it out of the way. Or you can just press this I so that it disappears. Let's build the frame now. So I'm gonna do that in, you guessed it, in edit mode. I will add solidifier. So you hit the wrench, add modifier, solidify, and I want to do at least 0.05 meter. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, I might want to go for the frame. I want to go a little thicker. The glass I can do a little thinner. So I'm gonna do 0.01, 0.1, sorry, 0.1 of a meter. Yeah. Now I can go ahead and do my bevel. Hit my X-ray. Now I can see all through. Make sure I'm on the face select. Now I can highlight everything and do my bevel. That looks good. Now I can turn off the X-ray so I can see a little better. And now I have the frame selected. So I want to invert. I'm gonna get out of the bevel and I'm gonna hit invert, will be Control and I for invert. There you go. I'm still on the faces, so I'm gonna hit X and delete faces. And I'm left with a frame. Okay, now I can delete the bottom area. This, if I wouldn't leave these bottom pieces in there, I would not get this whole this nice frame on the bottom here. So this is the reason why I left these, and I'm gonna cut them after the frame is created. Okay, so X-ray, and I'm gonna delete. Let's do faces. Yep. Now I'm gonna hit this so that everything is aligned. I still have my X-ray on. I'm gonna zoom in, switch to vertices so I can see these little points, and I'm gonna delete them because I want it to be nice and straight. So I'm just gonna highlight the bottom vertices, and I'm gonna hit X to delete. And now if I just gonna delete the vertices, you see I'm gonna lose these points. So I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna hit X to delete, and I'm gonna do dissolve vertices, and you see nice and straight here. Alright, so now I'm gonna do the glass. You wanna make sure you're not in this viewport shading, right? When you do materials, because it will never change, it will not show materials. So you wanna be in material preview, right? I've been in solid, so we go to material preview. So this is the base material. I'm gonna add new material, and I'm gonna name it glass. I'm gonna scroll all the way down to settings, and we wanna do blend mode, change it from opaque to alpha blend. You can already see, we can see through. Now the alpha we gotta lower down. So I like to have it around 0.1 so you can see the glass effect. You can play with it to your desired level. Now I want to lower the roughness a little bit and increase the metallic. That will give us the glass effect. And then we can always play, we can increase the alpha or lower the alpha all the way down. But I like to leave a little bit in there so that it's got some reflection in the glass. Then you can add a tint to the glass too. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in subsurface. Didn't notice that. I'm gonna be in the base color, so we can do a little tint. Alright, now we can add the frame, and here we go. Our dome is ready, and now we want to cut a hole to enter. Most avatars are about 2 meters high, so I want to make it at least 2 meters high, my cut. And I want to find a place, a good place, and make sure it's in the center. So like this is a bad place because see, it's this point is lower than this point. So I think this will be probably the best place to make a door. Now 2 meters, so I'm gonna add a box cube, and I want it to be size 2 meters. Now I'm gonna bring the box where I want to make the cut, and don't forget we have two materials. We have glass and we have a frame, so we need to cut through both of those materials. So I'm gonna start with the frame first. I'm gonna disable the glass, and I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna scale the box down a little bit on the edges, like so. And I'm gonna scale a little higher, so it's a little over 2 meters. And I'm gonna make a copy of the box. Command copy, Command V. And for now, I'm gonna move it out of the way. Select my frame. I'm gonna apply the previous solidify that we did. And now I'll do the hole, which will be the boolean. I'll take the eyedropper tool and select my object, the cube. Now, to make things more tidy, I'm gonna grab that cube from here and I'm gonna drag it over my frame, and I'm gonna parent it to the frame by hitting the shift button and releasing my mouse. There. Now it should be in the frame, my cube. Now I can disable the cube. And you can see I got my hole cut. Now I can disable the frame, and I'm gonna do the same thing to the glass. So I'm gonna grab my cube that I copied. I'm gonna make sure your snapping tool is on, so you go in exactly the same spot as we did it to the frame. And I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna apply the previous solidify modifier, and now I'll add the boolean and hit my box with it. And I'm gonna do the same thing, cube 001. I'll drag it to my glass, shift, make sure it's there, yep, disable my cube, and hole is there. Now I made one little mistake. I should have copied the box and make a door out of it, but that's okay. It's no big deal. I'm gonna enable the frame, and here we go. So now I gotta make a new cube. So this is gonna be my entry. So now I'm gonna scale it. I can make it a little bigger than the frame, so I don't have no gaps. Go to scale. So I'll do just a little bigger. So make sure everything is sealed. And same thing on the top. I'm gonna scale it, make it a little bigger. Disable the snap. Now I'm gonna make a copy of this again. Command copy, Command V. I'm gonna rename my cube 2 to entry, or tunnel, or airlock, or whatever, or doorway, whatever. Alright, my cube 003 is going to be a cutting tool to make a hole in the cube for the entry to go in. So I'm gonna scale. I'm gonna scale the top. Okay, how thick I want it to be. That's about good. Now the sides. Can make it proportional. Okay, somewhere there. Now I gotta scale up the front and back, so it will cut the hole in it. Now I can make the color here so we can see things a little better. So I'm gonna select frame and let's add new material, and I'm gonna do, let's say I'm gonna do blue, turquoise. That looks good, and I like metallic, so I'm gonna lower the roughness and add metallic. Yep. I love the look of metallic, but unfortunately in Carda Station, when you have something shaded, it's gonna be super dark. So I'm gonna lower the metallic actually. Okay, and I'm gonna have the same color of that on my entry. So I gotta add slot, and instead of creating a new, I'm gonna choose my material from the ones I already created. So I got material 001, and I'm gonna rename it to frame. No, I'm gonna rename it to blue, and I'll add modifier boolean, and I'll hit this box. Now I'm gonna get that box and drag it over the entry, hit shift, release my mouse. Let's see, entry, cube 1, disable it, and here we go. I can make and it's, you can see it's 2 meters long, and for the automatic doors and for my avatars changing from outdoor to indoor, the airlock needs to be 3 meters long, and if your plot is not on the edge width, I mean it's not on the side on the road or towards unbuildable land, then you need to push that airlock inside, so you got 12 meters. If I have buildable plots that are not mine all around me in every direction, I gotta keep it 12 meters. So I got 1.5 meter on each side. Let's say there is a road over here, or it's facing the edge of the colony, or different unbuildable land, like if there is a cliff on the edge, then I don't need to leave that 1.5 meter here, and I can build all the way in here. So I could take the airlock and I could move it out and have more space inside. But we're gonna make this one as like it's in the middle, and I gotta scale it to be 3 meters long. And if you have it by the road, you can go 1.5 meters. You can go like this. Now I'm gonna show you how to add floor. So I'm gonna entry, I'm gonna disable it, and I'm gonna also disable the glass. So I just got my frame, highlight my frame, go to, okay, never mind, go to edit mode, and I'm gonna select all the bottom vertices, like so, and I only wanna select the inside or outside. So now I'm gonna have to select all the ones on the outside, Yeah, I should have made the floor before I applied the solidifier, because before you apply the solidifier you would still have your original vertices only before the solidifier. So that's better to make the floor. This way I just gotta spend a little extra time to unselect the outside vertices. There. Now you hit vertex and new edge, and our floor is in. Let's see where it is. Oh, it's actually part of the frame, so we need to right click it and separate selection, and as you can see it says frame 001, so we're gonna rename it to floor. Here we go. Now I can jump out of the edit mode, and this is my frame, this is my floor, and I can just remove modifier from the floor. There. Floor, add modifier, solidify, and yeah, we want the floor to be pretty thick, so I'm gonna do same as the frame, so that will be 0.1. And our floor is done. Alright, floor, so I do have to make a new material. It's gonna be my floor. Okay, let's do probably leave silver, so I'm not gonna touch the color. I'm just gonna roughness, metallic. Maybe do a little shade of, let's say, yellowish. Glass, frame, and entry. You gotta be careful with these X and Y lines, because they will actually show. I mean, they're not gonna show in the world, but the plot edges, the white, bright white edges will, or markers will show. So we gotta make sure these lines are not visible here. So I'm gonna select everything here. I'm gonna move it up until we see the lines on the bottom here. Like that. That'll make sure that it's nicely positioned. Okay, now we will add a mesh cube for we're gonna make the door, the airlock. So I'm gonna position it right in the center. Scale it. It's right nice in the middle, so I don't have any gaps. There we go. Now we're gonna scale it, thickness of the door. gonna line it up. Alright, so this cube is now my airlock. So I gotta properly name it so the airlock will slide down and up automatically as you get close to it. And for that to happen, it's gotta be named airlock underscore exterior. So now I'm gonna copy it and paste it. So this is gonna be my airlock interior now. So I gotta rename it airlock interior. And if you want to have more doors, you can have more doors. You just gotta name them airlock underscore interior underscore 1. If you want to have another door, so you will have 3 doors, you will have airlock underscore interior underscore 1, and then you can do another one as 2, 3, 4. There's no limit as far as I know. In one of my builds I have about 6 doors and they all working just fine. Alright, so now I can grab the interior door and move it like so. I'm gonna turn off the magnet or the snapping tool and line it up. For the airlock to work properly, you're gonna have to see this little arrow here. You wanna press that, and that will show you the dimensions. So you're gonna click the airlock, and the scale has to be zeroed out. Also the rotation has to be 0. So every time you rotate it, you have to reset it to 0. And to reset it to 0, you do it by Control A and apply. So you're gonna do rotation and scale. You gotta do same thing to the interior door. So Control A and scale. Zero it out. And we gotta add material, because right now there's nothing in there. So I'm gonna do the same material as I have the floor, because again, less materials is better for the world, so it loads up faster. More materials, more stuff will cause it to delay a bit. And because we want to have a nice, smooth, fast metaverse, we gotta use low poly, less materials. Okay, so I'm gonna add a new slot, and I'm gonna choose from existing materials. So I'm gonna do the floor, and same thing to my interior floor. Last thing on our list would be one-way mirror glass. So for the bottom section here, I like to have a little bit of privacy on the inside. So we're gonna make it one-way mirror. And to do that, I wanna have my glass highlighted. Go to edit mode. Now if we did our solidifier good for the glass, and we did proper thickness, and we applied the modifier, then we, under the edit mode, we will see 2 glass material actually here. So I got the outside one and I got the inside one. So the inside one we're gonna leave alone, that's gonna be our glass. Now this outside one, we will add new material, new slot, new material. So I'm gonna put down mirror, and I'm gonna change the base color. I'm gonna do it pretty dark. And we're gonna do metallic. Roughness, I'm gonna go down. And it's still gonna be alpha blend, like for glass. And alpha's gonna go a little bit down, maybe just like so. You're gonna touch it up soon. So mirror, and we gotta assign, hit the assign, like so. So now you can see it, I got a quite darker. Now you can still see that it's still darker here as well. Okay, let's try this back face going. Okay, so now it works. So I can uncheck this. Yep. So only the exterior mirror. Okay, so on the mirror I'm gonna check the back face. Okay. I go back to object mode, and as you can see, now that we made it darker, we got these the glass is sticking out, so I gotta make the glass a little bit smaller. So scale, and just make it a bit smaller right there. You can still see on the inside, so you're gonna add a color. Okay, so we're gonna do this. That looks a little better. You can see a little bit inside, but not too much. We'll go back to edit mode, and now I have to manually select all these outside ones. And we will assign that. Okay, how does that look? Alright, not bad. If you place it north or northwest, you want to add a light around the door so it can be visible. I will add mesh, and I will add a cylinder. Bring it up front. And obviously I'm gonna have to scale it a lot, because that's gonna be my light. So I'm gonna have to find, it might be the blue one here, because if I'll scale this part, it's just gonna scale it from one side. I need to scale it from both sides. So let's try the blue, and that is the one. Yep. So like that. I'm gonna turn off the snapping tool. Get it in the center. It's
too thick still, so I'm gonna scale it some more. Yep, somewhere there. And that's gonna be my light. And I'm gonna make copy and paste and move it to the other side. And same thing, command copy, command V, and now rotate it 90 degrees and move it right in the center, scale it down. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to highlight all three parts, and I want to make it instead of having three pieces, I'm gonna make one object out of these three. So I'm gonna join them there. Now I got only one object here, and that's my light. So now I can delete those zeros, light, and I'm gonna add new material. It's gonna be the light, and emissions. So we're gonna light it up by using the emissions. So you're just gonna go all the way here, and that's gonna be my light. Now I can make it to glow yellow or whatever. I guess I'm gonna use yellow since I got the yellow windows. And let's see how it looks in the preview. I'm gonna hit this part. Yep, that looks good.